5 unique creatures you will love to see.
Number 5.
The thorny dragon. The thorny dragon, Moloch horridus, also known commonly as the mountain devil, thorny lizard, thorny devil, and Moloch, is a species of lizard in the family Agamidae. The species is endemic to Australia. It is the sole species in the genus Moloch. The thorny dragon was first described by the biologist, John Edward Gray in 1841. While it is the only species contained in the genus Moloch, many taxonomists suspect another species might remain to be found in the wild. The thorny devil is only distantly related to the morphologically similar North American horned lizards of the genus Phrynosoma. This similarity is usually thought of as an example of convergent evolution. The names given to this lizard reflect its appearance. The two large horned scales on its head complete the illusion of a dragon or devil. The name Moloch was used for a deity of the ancient Near East, usually depicted as a hideous beast. The thorny dragon also has other nicknames people have given it, such as the devil lizard, horned lizard, and the thorny toad. The thorny dragon grows up to 21 centimeters, 8.3 inches, in total length, including tail, and can live for 15 to 20 years. The females are larger than the males. Most specimens are colored in camouflaging shades of desert browns and tans. These colors change from pale colors during warm weather to darker colors during cold weather. The thorny dragon is covered entirely with conical spines that are mostly uncalcified. An intimidating array of spikes covers the entire upper side of the body of the thorny dragon. These thorny scales also help to defend it from predators. Camouflage and deception may also be used to evade predation. This lizard's unusual gait involves freezing and rocking as it moves about slowly in search of food, water, and mates. The thorny dragon also features a spiny false head on the back of its neck, and the lizard presents this to potential predators by dipping its real head. The false head is made of soft tissue. The thorny dragon's scales are ridged, enabling the animal to collect water by simply touching it with any part of the body, usually the limbs. The capillary principle allows the water to be transported to the mouth through the skin. The thorny dragon usually lives in the arid scrubland and desert that covers most of central Australia, sand plain, and sand-ridged desert in the deep interior and the Mallee Belt. The habitat of the thorny dragon coincides more with the regions of sandy loam soils than with a particular climate in Western Australia. The thorny dragon mainly subsists on ants, especially Ocatellus flavipes and other species in the Iridomyrmex or Ocatellus genera. Thorny dragon often eat thousands of ants in one day. The thorny dragon collects moisture in the dry desert by the condensation of dew. This dew forms on its skin in the early morning as it begins to warm outside. Then the dew is channeled to its mouth in hygroscopic grooves between its spines. During rainfalls, capillary action allows the thorny devil to absorb water from all over its body. Capillary action also allows the thorny dragon to absorb water from damp sand. Absorption through sand is the thorny dragon's main source of water intake. The female thorny dragon lays a clutch of 3 to 10 eggs between September and December. She puts these in a nesting burrow about 30 centimeters underground. The eggs hatch after about 3 to 4 months. Predators that consume the thorny devil include wild birds and gonas.
Number 4.
The babirusa. The babirusas, also called deer pigs, Indonesian, babirusa, are a genus, Babirusa, in the swine family found in Wallacea, or specifically the Indonesian islands of Sulawesi, Togian, Sula and Buru. All members of this genus were considered part of a single species until 2002, the babirusa, B. babirusa, but following that, was split into several species. This scientific name is restricted to the Buru babirusa from Buru and Sula, whereas the best known species, the North Sulawesi babirusa, is named B. sulabensis. The remarkable prehistoric appearance of these mammals is largely due to the prominent upwards incurving canine tusks of the males, which actually pierce the flesh in the snout. All species of babirusa are listed as threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, shown on their red list since at least 2010 and current in 2017. The genus is monotypic within the subfamily Babirusaceae, or alternatively considered to form a tribe, Babirusaceae, of the subfamily Sunni. To date, only one fossil skull has been found to suggest a larger ancestor. All members of the genus were considered part of a single species, the babirusa or pig deer, B. babirusa. They were split into several species, This scientific name is restricted to the Buru babirusa from Buru and the Sula Islands, whereas the best known species, the North Sulawesi babirusa, is named B. celebensis. The split, which uses the phylogenetic species concept, is based on differences in size, amount of hair on body and tail tuft, and measurements of the skull and teeth. Babirusa are notable for the long upper canines in the males. The upper canines of male babirusa emerge vertically from the alveolar process, penetrating through the skin and curving backward over the front of the face and towards the forehead. The lower canines also grow upwards. The canines of the female are either reduced or absent. The structure of the male's canines vary by species. In the golden babirusa, the upper canines are short and slender with the alveolar rotated forward to allow the lower canines to cross the lateral view. The Togian babirusa also has the same characteristics and the upper canines always converge. The North Sulawesi babirusa has long and thick upper canines with a vertically implanted alveolar. This caused the upper canines to emerge vertically and not cross with the lower canines. Babirusa also vary by species in other characteristics. The golden babirusa has a long, thick pelage that is white, creamy gold, black, or gold overall and black at the rump. The pelage of the Togian babirusa is also long but not as that of the golden babirusa. The Togian babirusa has a tawny, brown, or black pelage that is darker on the upper parts than in the lower parts. The North Sulawesi babirusa has very short hair and appears bald. The female babirusa has only one pair of teats. Babirusa are native to Sulawesi, some of the Togian Islands, the Sula Islands and Buru. In Sulawesi, they range from the northern peninsula to the south and southeast provinces. Although babirusas are present on both Sulawesi and Sula, they are not found on the large islands between the two, the Banga archipelago. It has been hypothesized that the unusual distribution is due to their being transported by humans as gifts bestowed by native royalty. The preferred habitat of babirusa are tropical rainforests along river banks. It appears that they have been confined to the higher grounds in the interior despite occurring in lowland areas near coasts in the past. They are also active during the daytime. Like all pig species, babirusa have an omnivorous diet with an intestinal tract similar to that of the domestic pig. The stomach diverticulum of a babirusa is enlarged, which may indicate that it is a ruminant, but evidence shows otherwise. Because it does not have a rostral bone in the nose, a babirusa does not dig with its snout like other pigs do except in mud and swampy grounds. The diet of the babirusa includes leaves, roots, fruits and animal material. Apparently, the strong jaws of a babirusa are capable of easily cracking hard nuts. Male babirusa tend to live solitarily while adult females can be found in groups with young. Groups of female and young babirusa may number up to 84 individuals, most of which contain no adult males. Males rarely travel in pairs or trios. The tusks of the adult males are used in intraspecific fighting. The upper tusks are for defense while the lower tusks are offensive weapons. If a babirusa does not grind its tusks, achievable through regular activity, they can eventually keep growing so as to penetrate the animal's own skull. Female babirusa cycle lengths are between 28 and 42 days and estrus lasts 2 to 3 days. The litter size for a babirusa is usually 1 or 2 piglets. In Indonesia, the striking appearance of the babirusa has inspired demonic masks, and the animal itself is sometimes used as a gift to present to visitors. The Balinese Hinduera Court of Justice Pavilion and the floating pavilion of Klungkung Palace ruins are notable for painted babirusa raksasa, grotesques, on the ceilings. Prehistoric paintings of babirusa found in caves on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia have been dated back at least 35,400 years, to the Ice Age Pleistocene epoch. Adam Brum, who co-authored the 2014 study dating the paintings, said the paintings of the wild animals are most fascinating because it is clear they were of particular interest to the artists themselves. Babirusas are protected in Indonesia and killing them is illegal in most cases. However, poaching remains a significant threat to the babirusa. Additionally, commercial logging operations threaten the babirusa by habitat loss, and also reduce cover, making the babirusa more exposed to poachers. All extant species of babirusa are listed as vulnerable or endangered by the IUCN.
Number 3.
The fossa. The fossa, Cryptoproctopherox, is a cat-like, carnivorous mammal endemic to Madagascar. It is a member of the Eupleridae, a family of carnivorans closely related to the mongoose family, Herpestidae. Its classification has been controversial because its physical traits resemble those of cats, yet other traits suggest a close relationship with beaverids, most civets and their relatives. Its classification, along with that of the other Malagasy carnivores, influenced hypotheses about how many times mammalian carnivores have colonized Madagascar. With genetic studies demonstrating that the fossa and all other Malagasy carnivores are most closely related to each other, forming a clade, recognized as the family Eupleridae, carnivorans are now thought to have colonized the island once, around 18 to 20 million years ago. The fossa is the largest mammalian carnivore on the island of Madagascar and has been compared to a small cougar. Adults have a head body length of 70 to 80 centimeters, 28 to 31 inches, and weigh between 5.5 and 8.6 kilograms, 12 and 19 pounds, with the males larger than the females. It has semi-retractable claws, meaning it can extend but not retract its claws fully, and flexible ankles that allow it to climb up and down trees head first, and also support jumping from tree to tree. The fossa is unique within its family for the shape of its genitalia, which share traits with those of cats and hyenas. One of the more peculiar physical features of this species is its external genitalia. The male fossa has an unusually long penis and baculum, penis bone, reaching to between his forelegs when erect, with an average thickness of 20 mm (0.79 inches). The glans extends about halfway down the shaft and is spiny except at the tip. In comparison, the glans of felids is short and spiny, while that of viverids is smooth and long. The female fossa exhibits transient masculinization, starting at about 1 to 2 years of age, developing an enlarged, spiny clitoris that resembles a male's penis. The enlarged clitoris is supported by an os clitorides, which decreases in size as the animal grows. The females do not have a pseudoscrotum, but they do secrete an orange substance that colors their underparts, much like the secretions of males. Hormone levels, testosterone, androstenedione, dihydrotestosterone, do not seem to play a part in this transient masculinization, as those levels are the same in masculinized juveniles and non-masculinized adults. It is speculated that the transient masculinization either reduces sexual harassment of juvenile females by adult males, or reduces aggression from territorial females. While females of other mammal species, such as the spotted hyena, have a pseudopenis, no other is known to diminish in size as the animal grows. Fossas communicate using sounds, scents, and visual signals. Vocalizations include purring, a threatening call, and a call of fear, consisting of repeated loud, coarse inhalations and gasps of breath. A long, high yelp may function to attract other fossas. Females mew during mating and males produce a sigh when they have found a female. Throughout the year, animals produce long-lasting scent marks on rocks, trees, and the ground using glands in the anal region and on the chest. They also communicate using face and body expression, but the significance of these signals is uncertain. The animal is aggressive only during mating, and males in particular fight boldly. After a short fight, the loser flees and is followed by the winner for a short distance. In captivity, fossas are usually not aggressive and sometimes even allow themselves to be stroked by a zookeeper, but adult males in particular may try to bite. The fossa is a carnivore that hunts small to medium-sized animals. One of 8 carnivorous species endemic to Madagascar, the fossa is the island's largest surviving endemic terrestrial mammal and the only predator capable of preying upon adults of all extant lemur species, the largest of which can weigh as much as 90% of the weight of the average fossa. Although it is the predominant predator of lemurs, reports of its dietary habits demonstrate a wide variety of prey selectivity and specialization depending on habitat and season. Diet does not vary by sex. While the fossa is thought to be a lemur specialist in Renault-Mafana National Park, its diet is more variable in other rainforest habitats. This wide variety of prey items taken in various rainforest habitats is similar to the varied dietary composition noted occurring in the dry forests of western Madagascar, as well. As the largest endemic predator on Madagascar, this dietary flexibility combined with a flexible activity pattern has allowed it to exploit a wide variety of niches available throughout the island, making it a potential keystone species for the Madagascar ecosystems. The fossa has been assessed as vulnerable by the IUCN Red List since 2008, as its population size has probably declined by at least 30% between 1987 and 2008. Previous assessments have included endangered, 2000, and insufficiently known, 1988, 1990, 1994. The species is dependent on forest and thus threatened by the widespread destruction of Madagascar's native forest, but is also able to persist in disturbed areas. A suite of microsatellite markers, short segments of DNA that have a repeated sequence, have been developed to help aid in studies of genetic health and population dynamics of both captive and wild fossas. Several pathogens have been isolated from the fossa, some of which, such as anthrax and canine distemper, are thought to have been transmitted by feral dogs or cats. Toxoplasma gondii was reported in a captive fossa in 2013. The fossa was depicted as an antagonist in the DreamWorks 2005 animated film Madagascar, accurately shown as the lemur's most feared predator. The fossa. The fossa, Cryptoproctopherox, is a cat-like, carnivorous mammal endemic to Madagascar. It is a member of the Eupluridae, a family of carnivorans closely related to the mongoose family, Herpistidae. Its classification has been controversial because its physical traits resemble those of cats, yet other traits suggest a close relationship with viverids, most civets and their relatives. Its classification, along with that of the other Malagasy carnivores, influenced hypotheses about how many times mammalian carnivores have colonized Madagascar. With genetic studies demonstrating that the fossa and all other Malagasy carnivores are most closely related to each other, forming a clade, recognized as the family Eupluridae, carnivorans are now thought to have colonized the island once, around 18 to 20 million years ago. The fossa is the largest mammalian carnivore on the island of Madagascar and has been compared to a small cougar. Adults have a head-body length of 70 to 80 centimeters, 28 to 31 inches, and weigh between 5.5 and 8.6 kilograms, 12 and 19 pounds, with the males larger than the females. It has semi-retractable claws, meaning it can extend but not retract its claws fully, and flexible ankles that allow it to climb up and down trees head first, and also support jumping from tree to tree. The fossa is unique within its family for the shape of its genitalia, which share traits with those of cats and hyenas. One of the more peculiar physical features of this species is its external genitalia. The male fossa has an unusually long penis and baculum, penis bone, reaching to between his forelegs when erect, with an average thickness of 20 mm (0.79 inches). The glans extends about halfway down the shaft and is spiny except at the tip. In comparison, the glans of felids is short and spiny, while that of viverids is smooth and long. The female fossa exhibits transient masculinization, starting at about 1 to 2 years of age, developing an enlarged, spiny clitoris that resembles a male's penis. The enlarged clitoris is supported by an os clitorides, which decreases in size as the animal grows. The females do not have a pseudoscrotum, but they do secrete an. If you like the video, please click like, share and subscribe, and also click the notification bell to watch the latest videos. Thank you.
Number 2.
The proboscis monkey. The proboscis monkey, Nasalis larvatus, or long-nosed monkey, known as the bekantan in Indonesia, is an arboreal Old World monkey with an unusually large nose, a reddish-brown skin color and a long tail. It is endemic to the Southeast Asian island of Borneo and is found mostly in mangrove forests and on the coastal areas of the island. This species coexists with the Bornean orangutan. It belongs in the monotypic genus Nasalis. Females become sexually mature at the age of 5 years. They experience sexual swelling, which involves the genitals becoming pink or reddened. At one site, matings largely take place between February and November, while births occur between March and May. Copulations tend to last for half a minute. The male will grab the female by the ankles or torso and mount her from behind. Both sexes will encourage mating, but they are not always successful. When soliciting, both sexes will make pouted faces. In addition, males will sometimes vocalize and females will present their backsides and shake their head from side to side. Mating pairs are sometimes harassed by subadults. Proboscis monkeys may also engage in mounting with no reproductive purpose, such as playful and same-sex mounting, and females will attempt to initiate copulation even after they have conceived. Gestation usually lasts 166 to 200 days or slightly more. Females tend to give birth at night or in the early morning. The mothers then eat the placenta and lick their infants clean. The young begin to eat solid foods at 6 weeks and are weaned at 7 months old. The nose of a young male grows slowly until reaching adulthood. The mother will allow other members of her group to hold her infant. When a resident male in a one-male group is replaced, the infants are at risk of infanticide. Proboscis monkeys are known to make various vocalizations. When communicating the status of group, males will emit honks. They have a special honk emitted towards infants, which is also used for reassurance. Males will also produce alarm calls to signal danger. Both sexes give threat calls, but each are different. In addition, females and immature individuals will emit so-called female calls when angry. Honks, roars and snarls are made during low-intensity agonistic encounters. Non-vocal displays include leaping branch shaking, bare teeth open mouth threats and erection in males, made in the same situations. The proboscis monkey is endemic to the island of Borneo and can be found on all three nations that divide the island: Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. It is most common in coastal areas and along rivers. This species is restricted to lowland habitats that may experience tides. It favors dipterocarp, mangrove, and riverine forests. It can also be found in swamp forests, stunted swamp forests, rubber plantations, limestone hill forests, nipa swamps, nibong swamps, and tall swamp forests, tropical heath forests and steep cliffs. This species usually stays within at least a kilometer from a water source. It is perhaps the most aquatic of the primates and is a fairly good swimmer, capable of swimming up to 20 meters, 66 feet, underwater. It is known to swim across rivers. Aside from this, the proboscis monkey is largely arboreal and moves quadrupedally and by leaps. It is known to jump off branches and descend into water. The proboscis monkey is assessed as endangered in the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species and listed in Appendix I of CITES. Its total population has decreased by more than 50% in the past 36 to 40 years to 2008 due to ongoing habitat loss because of logging and oil palm plantations, and hunting in some areas due to the species being treated as a delicacy, as well as its use in traditional Chinese medicine. The population is fragmented. The largest remaining populations are found in Kalimantan. There are far fewer in Sarawak, Brunei, and Sabah. The proboscis monkey is protected by law in all regions of Borneo. In Malaysia, it is protected by a number of laws including the Wildlife Protection Act, Federal Law, the Wildlife Protection Ordinance 1998, Chapter 26, and Wildlife Conservation Enactment 1997, Sabah State Law. The proboscis monkey can be found in 16 protected areas: Danau Sentarum National Park, Gunung Palung National Park, Kendawangan Nature Reserve, Kutai National Park, Lisan Protection Forest, Muara Kuman Nature Reserve, Manda Reserve, and Tanjung Puting National Park in Indonesia, Bako National Park, Gunung Pueh Forest Reserve, Kabili Sepilog Forest Reserve, Klias National Park, Kulamba Wildlife Reserve, Lower Kinabatangan Wildlife Sanctuary, Sunji Isamunsum Wildlife Sanctuary and Ulu Segama Reserve in Malaysia.
Number 1.
The Saiga antelope. The Saiga antelope, Saiga tatarika, is a critically endangered antelope that originally inhabited a vast area of the Eurasian steppe zone from the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains and Caucasus into Dzungaria and Mongolia. They also lived in Beringian North America during the Pleistocene. Today, the dominant subspecies, St. tatarika, is only found in one location in Russia, in the Republic of Kalmykia and Astrakhan Oblast, and 3 areas in Kazakhstan, the Ural, Usti-Erd, and Betpakdala populations. A proportion of the Usti-Erd population migrates south to Uzbekistan and occasionally Turkmenistan in winter. It is extinct in China and southwestern Mongolia. It was hunted extensively in Romania and Moldova until it became extinct in those regions at the end of the 18th century. The Mongolian subspecies, St. mongolica, is found only in western Mongolia. In 1945, American paleontologist George Gaylord Simpson classified both in the tribe Saigani under the same subfamily, Caperni. Subsequent authors were not certain about the relationship between the two, until phylogenetic studies in the 1990s revealed that though morphologically similar, the Tibetan antelope is closer to the Caperni while the Saiga is closer to the Antilopini. The Saiga stands 61 to 81 centimeters, 24 to 32 inches, at the shoulder, and weighs 26 to 69 kilograms, 57 to 152 pounds. The head and body length is typically between 100 and 140 centimeters, 39 and 55 inches. A prominent feature of the Saiga is the pair of closely spaced, bloated nostrils directed downward. Other facial features include the dark markings on the cheeks and the nose, and the 7 to 12 centimeters, 2.8 to 4.7 inches, long ears. During summer migrations, a Saiga's nose helps filter out dust kicked up by the herd and cools the animal's blood. In the winter, it heats up the frigid air before it is taken to the lungs. Only males possess horns. These horns, thick and slightly translucent, are wax-colored and show 12 to 20 pronounced rings. With a base diameter of 25 to 33 millimeters, 0.98 to 1.30 inches, the horns of the Russian Saiga measure 28 to 38 centimeters, 11 to 15 inches, in length. The horns of the Mongolian saiga, however, reach a maximum length of 22 centimeters 8.7 inches. During the last glacial period, the saigas ranged from the British Isles through Central Asia and the Bering Strait into Alaska and Canada's Yukon and Northwest Territories. By the Classical Age, they were apparently considered a characteristic animal of Scythia, judging from the historian Strabo's description of an animal called the kolos that was between a deer and ram in size and was, understandably but wrongly, believed to drink through its nose. After a rapid decline, they were nearly completely exterminated in the 1920s, but they were able to recover. By 1950, 2 million of them were found in the steppes of the USSR. Their population fell drastically following the collapse of the USSR due to uncontrolled hunting and demand for horns in Chinese medicine. At one point, some conservation groups, such as the World Wildlife Fund, encouraged the hunting of this species, as its horn was presented as an alternative to that of a rhinoceros. Today, the populations have again shrunk enormously, as much as 95% in 15 years. The saiga is classified as critically endangered by the IUCN. An estimated total number of 50,000 saigas survives today in Kalmykia, 3 areas of Kazakhstan, and in 2 isolated areas of Mongolia. Another small population in the pre-Caspian region of Russia remains under extreme threat. If you like the video, please click like, share and subscribe, and also click the notification bell to watch the latest videos. Thank you.